morning, and welcome to the UU Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Maddie Senaway, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or visitor to our congregation, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer after the service, please take a red mug and members will seek you out to make sure you are warmly welcomed. If you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. We welcome children of all ages to our service. For quiet play, we have a children's area here in the sanctuary. For louder activities, we have a nursery just outside the corner entrance to the sanctuary. We also have a comfort room, accessible through the back hallway, from which you can hear and see the service. A gentle reminder to everyone, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices so that we can enjoy this service uninterrupted by buzzing or ringing. Today's sermon is titled, What is Unitarian Universalism? This service will provide an overview of Unitarian Universalist theology and why it is important to us and our world. Our opening words were written by Sunshine Jeremiah Wolf. This is a congregation that gathers in faith, not faith in one religion or one God or any one way. We gather in faith in the power of diversity, the power of love, and the hope of a world transformed by our care. We gather in faith in ourselves and those around us, not a faith that requires perfection or rightness in one another, rather a faith that in our shared imperfection we may learn to stumble and fall together, faith that we will help one another to rise and to try again and again. We are Unitarian Universalists. Our chalice lighting is in the form of a responsive reading. After each line I read, please respond by saying, "We light our chalice." For the illuminating light of truth, we light our chalice. For the purifying fire of justice, we light our chalice. For the life-sustaining flame of love, we light our chalice. For the hope-filled brightness of this gathered community, we light our chalice.
Good morning. Please rise in body and or spirit and join us in singing This Is It.
This is the place you want to be. Don't wait until tomorrow to let yourself be free. This is it. This is the place you want to be. This is it. This is it. This is the song you want to sing. This is it. This is it. This is the song you want to sing. Don't wait until tomorrow to let your voices ring. This is it. This is the song you want to sing. This is it, this is the love you want to feel. This is it, this is it, this is the love you want to feel. Don't wait until tomorrow to let your love be real. This is it, this is the love you want to feel. This is it, this is it, the world is calling out to you. This is it, this is it, the world is calling out to you. Don't wait until tomorrow for what you came to do.
it's quiet in here. I know, I need to carry a stick more often. All right. See, can y'all hear me back there? Yeah? All right. If there are any kiddos present, it is time to come on up for our Time for All Ages. I promise I won't be using the stick. Good morning, friends. Here we go. Gather around. How many of you like to go on a hike? Okay. Not really? I love to go for a hike. Does anyone have any special places that they like to go for a hike around here? Maybe Bird Park? Bird Park? Around camp? Yeah, there are lots of places to go for a hike in the woods. When I go walking in the woods, I like to bring a walking stick with me. This is mine right here. It helps me keep my balance if the ground is muddy, or if I get tired walking uphill, or if my knees hurt walking downhill, which becomes worse every year, and I'm not a big fan of that. You know, this walking stick makes me think about our faith as Unitarian Universalists. We often say life is like a journey. As we grow up, we learn new things, our beliefs might change. Sometimes the path feels easy and smooth, but sometimes it's steep and rocky. When that happens, it helps to have something steady, like a walking stick. Our religion doesn't magically take away all the hard parts of life, but it does help us find our balance. It reminds us that we're strong and capable, and that we don't have to walk the trail alone. We have friends, family in this community walking with us. So next time you're out on a trail, maybe you'll find a walking stick of your own. And when you see it, you'll remember that Unitarian Universalism can be like a walking stick too.
I'm surprised that one doesn't have any dirt on it.
I know. I guess I haven't used it enough, huh? The comment was it doesn't have any dirt on it. I'll check after class, or after the story, okay? So, remember that Unitarian Universalism can be like a walking stick too. Here to help you steady your steps and find your way forward. And with that, we will head downstairs to our RE class.
As you go, may joy surround you. As you go in peace. Our love is with you always. As you go, as you go, as you go, may joy surround you. As you
Earlier this month, the UUA just published a new online hymnal, which is one of the most exciting things that's happened in UU music for a while. It includes resources for all of our existing hymns, in addition to about 50 or 60 brand new songs. So we're going to be slowly introducing some of these new songs to the congregation over the course of this church year. And this song, entitled This Boat by Laura Zucker, is one of those. Today I'm going to be asking you to join along on the choruses of this song, and I'll sing the verses. Let me sing the chorus through one time, and then join in with me as you will.
This boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, when tempest tossed. Even if you feel that all is lost, you've heard the thunder roar and a look at heaven's door. If you're sinking like a stone, this boat will carry you home. This boat is steady. This boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab and hold. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. In this boat, there's nothing we can't do together, no matter the weather. No matter that the chart's on ours, we will navigate by our stars. This boat is steady. This boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab and hold. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. Chorus one more time. This boat is steady. This boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab and hold. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. Thank you.
This is the time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. Joys and sorrows may be submitted online through a link on our website or in our email newsletter, The Beat, or you can fill out a form by hand in the entranceway to the church. After each joy or sorrow that I share, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." A joy and sorrow from Jennifer Hutchinson. A joy for all the support from Sunnyhill we have felt since my dad's accident. He is out of ICU and will start inpatient spinal therapy this week. My sorrow is that I am grieving hard for this once very active lifestyle, and the future is dark to me. Please continue to keep our family in your prayers as we search for the brightness each day. For Jennifer, her father, and family, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Bethany Thornton. Bethany says, Jay and I are away this weekend, moving both of our older boys into college. Aiden is starting his junior year at Penn State, and Henry is beginning his first year at Dickinson College. Moving 2 kids out in 1 weekend is a lot for this mama's heart, but I'm so excited to watch them spread their wings and fly. To the Thornton family, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Mary Pratt. Mary says, I'm off camping this weekend in the woods with my family and some good friends. I'm grateful for a bit of time away, and I look forward to be back singing with you all next week. To Mary and family, we hold you in our hearts. And a sorrow from Julia Oak. Julia says, our 6-year-old Henry is scheduled for outpatient surgery at Children's Hospital on September 10th. We trust he'll be in good hands with an experienced pediatric surgeon, but are preparing for a painful recovery period of 3 to 5 days. Henry would love to get mail from Sunnyhill friends while recuperating. If you have capacity, we'd welcome cards, drawings, or stickers to provide some distraction during this time. If you need to know how to get a card to Henry and family, please see me or Jen McLaughlin, and we'll be happy to provide you with some information. In the meantime, to Henry and family, we hold you in our hearts. We invite anyone who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and return to your seats as we sing our meditation hymn, Comfort Me.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. As summer draws to an end and a new church year begins, we pause to consider who we are and why we are here. We pause to create together a container that is large enough to hold all, to hold our joys and sorrows, our hopes and disappointments, our triumphs and our failures, our ideal selves and our actual selves. We pause to weave together a net strong enough to catch all who are falling, those who are lonely or bereft, those who are marginalized or oppressed, those who find themselves falling through the cracks of an inhospitable world. We pause to stitch together a blanket of caring broad enough to comfort all the discomforts of living at a time when compassion is hard to find, all the discomforts of increasing social and economic chaos and uncertainty. We pause now for a moment of silence to create together a container, a net, a blanket of human caring. May we find hope in hopeless times. May we find comfort in a world of discomfort. And may we bring into being the love we seek, now and always. Amen. As some of you might recall, last year in the wake of the November election, Perry Bacon Jr. wrote a Washington Post column titled, "Don't doom scroll about Trump. Do these 5 things instead." The second item on Bacon's list was, in his words, join a Unitarian Universalist congregation. He said, there is a growing number of Americans, particularly on the left, who are religiously unaffiliated and not regularly congregating with people who share their values. Bacon wrote, they should consider the Unitarian Universalists. He said, I recently started regularly attending a UU service in Louisville. Before the election, church members engaged in politics in a practical way, encouraging congregants to go canvassing in opposition to a proposed constitutional amendment here to create a school vouchers program. Post-election, Bacon wrote, I was relieved to be in a space where we openly discussed shared values and ideals we felt had been rejected by America in electing Trump, such as support of immigrants and LGBTQ plus people. While Perry Bacon did a great job promoting Unitarian Universalism and giving a snapshot of what his experience at one UU congregation has been, he did not provide a definition or detailed description of what Unitarian Universalism is. In fact, it would have been impossible for him to do so in one short Washington Post column. Defining UUism is not an easy task. Today's sermon is my own 9th attempt in as many years to provide such a definition. Each year I've approached the question of, well, what is Unitarian Universalism from a slightly different angle? One year I spoke of the roots of Unitarianism and Universalism in the first few hundred years of the Christian church, how most early Christians believed in one God, or Unitarianism, rather than the Trinity that became the norm following the Council of Nicaea and the Nicene Creed, and how Universalism, the belief that in the end all will be saved by a loving God, was also present as an important belief to many early Christians. Another year, I spoke of the deep roots of Unitarian Universalism in the radical wing of the Protestant Reformation of the 16th century, how we are reformers by nature and view each and every institution, including our own, as in need of continuous reform and renewal, how UUs have seen the need to correct the misdeeds and abuses of the Western Church by tearing down its rigid structures and toppling its hierarchy and putting in their place the priesthood and prophethood of all members of the faith. And last year, addressing the same question of what is Unitarian Universalism, I focused on developing a personal elevator speech, an articulation of UU faith that can be spoken in about the time it would take for the average elevator ride. And I began and ended with my own elevator speech, which emphasized how we are committed to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, which brings together each individual's inherent worth with a recognition that the fact that everyone is deeply connected to everyone else and everything else in the world. All of these approaches to the question, what is Unitarian Universalism, are valid and worth considering, and each of them contains important aspects of our history and theology. But today I'd like to answer this question by describing 3 aspects of my own experience of Unitarian Universalism and what it has meant to me, which I began doing in last week's sermon about why going to church, in fact, is good for you. The first time I remember stepping foot inside a UU church was when, at about age 10, I went with my parents to a poetry reading at the First Unitarian Church in Columbus, Ohio. As I mentioned last week, my father was a United Methodist minister, and I grew up in Methodist churches, mostly in rural north central Ohio. But my father was and still is a poet, and there was not much in the way of venues for sharing his poetry in rural Ohio at that time. So we went to the UU church in Columbus, where my dad was able to share his poems and where we heard poems from others. What I observed at that Unitarian church in Columbus as a 10-year-old in the early 1970s was vastly different from what I saw each week at our Methodist church in Shelby, Ohio. At this poetry reading, there were hippies and college professors, people of color and out-of-the-closet gay and lesbian people, feminists and political radicals of all stripes. And the poems that people shared were all over the place. Wonderfully eccentric free verse, biting satire, heartfelt love ballads, and poems about liberation and joy and ecstasy in all of their forms. The Unitarians seemed so wildly exotic to me that I immediately liked them in the way that all children love colorful, eccentric nonconformists. And in the back of my mind, I always had a soft spot for these strange-seeming UUs, whom I didn't quite understand, but found fascinating and so very different from the people and the communities where I grew up. Now fast forward with me about 25 or 30 years to a time when, in my late 30s, I suddenly found myself yearning for a religious community. As I mentioned in last week's sermon, I was at that time newly sober and newly single and wondering who I was and what I wanted. I was in one of those liminal spaces that we experience from time to time in our lives. Richard Rohr defines liminal space as a place where we are betwixt and between the familiar and the completely unknown. There alone is our old world left behind while we are not yet sure of the new existence. Rohr says that's a good place where genuine newness can begin. At that time, I knew that I was on the threshold of something new and that I needed to be in a community that would enable me to explore this newness and what it might mean for me. A place where I would be accepted exactly as I was, even as I was becoming something yet unknown. I was a participant in a 12-step group that happened to meet at a UU church just up the street from where I lived at the time. While I was waiting for the meeting to start, I would look at the bulletin board there and peruse the literature. And I remembered my early experiences with the UUs as a child. Again, as I mentioned last week, at last I attended a Sunday morning service at that church. And during that first service I attended, I found myself quietly crying almost the whole time. At that time, I wasn't sure why I cried, but now I think it had to do with the power of experiencing community, especially after a period of emotional and spiritual isolation, which is the hallmark of addiction. Even without interacting one-on-one with the other people in that congregation, just sitting there with them, I felt loved and accepted just as I was. And I felt like I was a part of something greater than myself alone. And that's the first aspect of my experience of Unitarian Universalism that I would like to hold up as a defining characteristic. That our faith, when it's at its best, meets you where you are, exactly as you are, without judgment and without expectations of becoming something other than what you are before you are accepted. At a Unitarian Universalist congregation, if it is healthy and at least somewhat functional, you are loved just as you are. Eventually, I did start introducing myself to other people at the congregation whose services I attended, and I became more and more involved in the life of that church, first as a singer and musician, and subsequently as a fundraiser and lay leader. During this time of increasing involvement in positions of leadership with this congregation, I found myself frequently at odds with another member of the church who was prickly and challenging to get along with. And it wasn't just me, I swear. Others also found that they frequently clashed with this individual who seemed to have strong opinions about almost everything and insisted on expressing those opinions loudly, frequently, and sometimes disruptively. My immediate reaction was to argue with this person. At committee meetings, I found myself in lengthy debates with them that really never ended well. In fact, at the end of these meetings, not only were the two of us frustrated, so too was everyone else who had to sit through our arguments. But at one of those meetings, I had something like a conversion experience. As I looked over at that person, fully prepared to argue against whatever it was they were saying, I suddenly found myself feeling affection for them and a sense that after all was said and done, Here was a person who was passionate about the congregation, who wanted it to thrive, who felt this community was important enough to spend their time and energy supporting it. In that moment, I felt deeply and profoundly connected with this person in a way I hadn't felt before. And it became clear to me that this sense of connection was more important than whatever disagreement we might have been having. In other words, for the first time, I truly understood that right relationship is more important than being right. And from that point forward, while we still clashed from time to time, I no longer saw this person as my personal enemy. And that's the second defining characteristic of Unitarian Universalism that I would like to highlight this morning. Ours is a covenantal religious tradition in which relationship is of primary importance. Right relationship is more important than right belief. We won't always agree with each other, but we understand that when rifts occur, it is far more important to heal and restore the relationship than it is to continue arguing about why we are right and the other person is wrong. A third aspect of Unitarian Universalism, as I have experienced, that has been transformational for me has been a particular approach to issues of justice. Namely, that working to become more inclusive, equitable, and welcoming to all means expanding outward from the margins rather than calling everyone inward toward the center. There is a tendency in any religious or cultural institution to try to assimilate other individuals or groups. The tendency is to say to others, either implicitly or explicitly, just become more like we are, and everything will be all right. And in such institutions, processes are put into place to educate people and assimilate them to bring them toward the center of the existing group. But that's not what we do as Unitarian Universalists, at least not in recent years. Rather than being assimilation-minded, we strive to be growth-minded and to expand, not by pulling people toward the center, but rather by growing from the margins, especially from the margins where people have been excluded because of their race, ethnicity, class, sexuality, gender, or abilities. While our Universalist roots declare that no one is outside the circle of love, we now realize that the circle has never grown wider by drawing people toward the center and assimilating them into some version of the UU Borg, for those of you familiar with the Star Trek universe. Rather, the circle grows wider as a result of the vision and work with, for, and by people at the margins who have experienced oppression and have been historically excluded from the center in various ways. In a UU congregation, again, when we are at our best, we don't invite those on the outside looking in to become more like us. Rather, we transform ourselves, our attitudes, behaviors, policies, and practices in order to draw the circle wider and become more inclusive, more equitable, and more just as a result. This work for diversity, justice, equity, and inclusion is not easy, especially at a time when the current federal administration is actively punishing universities, government agencies, and individuals who attempt to engage in this work. But this opposition makes the work all the more important. It is challenging and it forces us to face difficult truths about ourselves, about our society, and about our institutions, even our own beloved congregations. But in the end, this approach is the best way to be in right relationship with all those within and beyond our circles. So in summary, what is Unitarian Universalism? Based on my own experience and my own spiritual growth as a UU, I would say that Unitarian Universalism is a living religious tradition that says at least three things to any and all. First, you are loved just as you are. Second, relationship is more important than being right. And third, justice is about widening the circle, especially from the margins. Perry Bacon, in his Washington Post article, suggests that becoming a member of a UU congregation is one of the best things you can do to channel your frustration with the current state of things into positive action. And I concur. Unitarian Universalism has been for me a life-changing, life-saving faith. I hope and pray that it might be for you as well. May it be so. Amen. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, Wake Now My Senses.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of being in awe. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now, compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor both stranger and friend, praying and striving their hardship to end. Wake now my conscience with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance near. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month of August is Global Links, a Pittsburgh-based nonprofit dedicated to improving health in communities with need. Since 1989, Global Links has been sharing surplus rescued from the U.S. healthcare system and collaborating with government officials, healthcare professionals, community organizations, and community leaders to develop projects that support public health goals both internationally and domestically by improving access to quality healthcare and needed materials. You can make a gift online on our website or by text at 412-324-3130. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. If you're writing a check, please make it out to UUCSH and put "Share the Plate" in the memo line. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As I mentioned last week, registration has begun for our Sharing Circles program. If you are looking for a way to connect more deeply with members of Sunnyhill and provide the kind of mutual support I was speaking of earlier, Sharing Circles signups are open today in the fellowship hall after the service. Sharing Circles are a great way to build deeper connections within our Sunnyhill community. Groups meet monthly to share stories, listen deeply, and explore meaningful topics in a supportive space. For more details, please see Nanette Miller or Terry Alvarez with any questions you might have. Also, I wanted to mention a couple of other things. For people that want to learn more about Sunnyhill and Unitarian Universalism, we're going to have a Sunnyhill 101 class in between services on September 14th. September 14th, we start our two-service schedule, 9 o'clock and 11:15, just as a reminder to everyone. Sunnyhill 101 is just less than a 1-hour overview of this congregation and Unitarian Universalism, and provides newcomers a chance to ask any questions that they might have. And then on September 28th, after the second service, we'll have our Starting Points membership class, which is the required class to become a member of Sunnyhill. Also, I would like to thank Megan McGee again for the beautiful music that she provided today on flute. I'm also going to put Jonathan Murray on the spot. Jonathan is here with us today. Jonathan, could you stand for just a second? He's our new ministerial intern, so I hope that you will welcome him. Thank you. He doesn't officially begin until September, but he's here in an informal capacity. I encourage anyone to say hello and welcome him, especially those of you whom I have recruited to be on his internship committee. We'll have a formal meeting of that group in a couple of weeks, but please make yourself known to him. With that, we will go to our closing words. As we part now one from another, let these be our thoughts. If that which is most holy lies within the human person, and if the greatest power in the world shines flickering and uncertain from each individual heart, then it is easy to see the value of human associations dedicated to nurturing that light, the couple, the family, the religious community. For the power of good in any one of us must at times waver. But when a group together is dedicated to nurturing the power of good, it is rare for the light to grow dim in all individuals at the same moment. So we borrow courage and wisdom from one another to warm us and keep us until we are together again. Go in peace.